I got the script for week 6, Dana White's Contender Series. Sorry I'm late. It just came in the mail here. And I'm going to tell you each and every pick. We got 5 fights, new main event here. And the old main event is the first fight of the night. How great is that? Smash the like button before we get going. Crack one, pour one, stop snoozing on the Fight Fiend forecast. Seriously, we are going to win on this card that is very hard to predict. Where a lot of picks were very low confidence, but I made some changes. I made a big change, a pick change on this card. Very exciting fight. After the face-offs, after the weigh-ins, which just happened, confidence levels skyrocketed. Let's go. Now, first fight of the night, if you want to still snooze on the Fight Fiend forecast, go ahead. I'm taking the underdog, Dylam Mantello versus Ahmad Hassanzada, 11-3. Both guys on the Contender Series before. Dylam Mantello's only 8-3. Now this fight, Mantello comes in as underdog. Both these guys, the wins, not great, really, not impressive. 9-3 submission win at CFC a year and 5 months ago before his loss on the Contender Series for Mantello. He got submitted to Kyan Krucheski 11 months ago. His first attempt. You know, he's tough. He has very good hands. But Hassanzada is probably the better grappler. On the feet, he might struggle. I can trust Dylam Mantello to be tough on the feet, durable on the feet, and hopefully not get submitted again this time. It's not the most confident pick, but fairly confident Dylam Mantello can beat Hassanzada here, who got knocked out on his first time on the Contender Series to Nazim Sadikov. Got caught with that right hook. He was looking good before that, but he got caught. He lost the decision to a guy 8-5, Josh Strecker, before that. Or Straker, something like that. 8-5, LFA, loss. He won his last 2 fights, though. Now he's getting the shot at the Contender Series. But at Cage Warriors, he beat a guy 3-1, 9 months ago. And then he just beat a guy 10-5, 5 months ago at Tough Enough. So, I don't trust Hassanzada as a favorite. I think Dylam Mantello was a wider favorite. Money has been coming in, but Tapology picks pretty confident in Hassanzada here. I would not be confident in him as a bet if I was picking him to win. That is for sure. Am I betting Dylam Mantello as a pick? My pick at 28% on Tapology. I'm not too confident. About medium confidence, though. It's not too low compared to some of the other picks on this card. You got to remember, Dylam Mantello, he's training with Longo Weidman MMA. Merab Dvcs just got the belt. He's ecstatic. He's pumped up. The gym's fired up. He's getting a second chance here. It's now or never. He is 31. He has to finish this fight. I don't see him winning a decision. Possibly. If it goes there, he will, hopefully. But round 2, KO. He's going to be the better striker. He's going to stop those takedowns. And he's going to finish Hassanzada in round 2 by knockout. You can do what you want with it. You can fade the Fight Fiend forecast. The script that came in the mail here has absolutely nothing on the paper. If you can see that, there's nothing on here. So we'll see how good that was. That was just a joke. My pick is Dylam Mantello. There is no script. I don't have it, if there is one. I wish I did, because the underdogs that won were massive underdogs. A girl with no money showed up and knocked out a massive favorite that I had 20 units on. Am I going to bet Dylam Mantello? I'm not going to chase my loss. No, I'm not going to do that. But I did pick him last time against Kyan Krucheski. So I feel like I have to pick him at least this time with low to medium confidence. KO round 2. The script is locked in for the Fight Fiend forecast. It's a pretty good intro, though. Now, the next fight of the night is the fight pick that I had to change. you see the face-off and you're like, I don't know. He is lacking some muscle in this fight. Ateba Gautier 5-1, I think is the better striker. After seeing the face-offs. Yeah. And once he gets hydrated and puts on more weight, you seen the look in Yuri Naito's eyes. Undefeated, he knows he's not going to be undefeated much longer. He looks scared at the face-offs. He looks scared. I had to change the pick. I thought he was the right side. Undefeated, he looked good, Japanese. But he hasn't really fought outside of Japan. And the fighters that he's been fighting aren't that good. Now, I'm going to make the same argument. My pick here, the underdog that is closing in here, money coming in on this underdog as well, is fighting low-level competition as well. You see a fight win against an opponent 2-23. You know, 2 years ago, not the most active fighter, fought a guy 0-1 as well. 1-0 a year and 3 months ago with a beautiful head kick. All in round 1. And then most recently, 9 months ago, at the Fight Club, he knocked out 17-3 Carlos de Souza. All in round 1. Decision loss here. Split decision. Against the debuting pro fighter, Glenn Williams. So Glenn, who's a fucking hawk, beat this guy. Flew his way to a decision. Takedowns, control time. Same thing could happen in this fight. The Japanese undefeated fighter could get the takedowns, control time. He looks like the better wrestler. But these African fighters, now, Gautier is from Cameroon, same place as Francis Ngannou. He looks like Francis fucking Ngannou. I think he's getting the round 1 KO. I switched the pick. Pretty high confidence. Both of them have been fighting tomato cans. The favorite, who was a much bigger favorite, it's becoming more like a pick'em now. So get in early while you can if you're seeing plus money for Ateba Gautier. Now I'm late. It's Monday. I'm still seeing plus 130, plus 110 for Ateba here. The silent assassin. But I feel like he's going to become the favorite Tuesday night. I just have that feeling. This Japanese fighter just knocked out a guy 2 months ago that was debuting. Knocked out a guy 19-10 and 4. 19-10 and 4. Four draws? Like, all these fighters are Japanese. And they're not that good. He beat a guy 1-0 by a decision 2 years ago. 3 years ago, submitted a guy 6-5 and knocked out a guy 4-6. I understand the money coming in on this underdog. I switched the pick after the face-off, not because of the money coming in. At the face-offs, this Japanese fighter that's undefeated has a look in his eye that, in my opinion, doesn't boost my confidence as a bettor. I feel like he's not ready to go here. The Japanese prospect, you're a two-face. Naito is going to lose and get hit in the face too many times, get knocked out, round 1, possibly round 2. I'm pretty confident at this point after the face-offs. He hasn't fought good competition. Ateba hasn't fought good competition. You can't have confidence on either side. Take the dog. Take the dog. Take the African. He's going to win. We have a new South African champion. They're going to have a card in Africa. They're going to want some contenders on that card. This is a perfect guy to put on that card. All round 1 KOs. Explosive power. He's going to walk down Yuri Naito, make him shell up, get the knockout punch. Round 1. That is what the script has told me. That's what the forecast is calling. Now, if this is a pick you want to fade, it's Dana White's Contender Series. Anything can happen. Flip a coin on each and every fight. It's probably just as good as listening to any capper. Let's be real here. These fighters don't have credible wins, and they're fighting on Dana White's Contender Series to go to the UFC. Now, do I think any of my picks have a chance to go to the UFC and have success? Probably not these two guys. This African, maybe. He looks ripped. He was the more intimidating fighter at the face-offs. It looked like Naito was very scared, in my opinion, but I could be wrong. I could be leaning too hard into what I seen. I just feel like he looks scared. He's not ready to go. And obviously, there's one guy looking like a brick shithouse and one guy looking pretty soft. We'll see what happens. I think the goose egg is cracking in this one. The next fight, yeah. I don't know how high caliber these guys are. All these fights, let me quickly talk about the records of each and every fighter, top to bottom. 8-3, 11-3, 5-1, 6-0, 6-1, 6-1, 6-1, 6-0, 8-0, 6-1. A lot of these fighters have under 10 fights pro. That is not a lot of experience. There is not a lot of tape study. There's not much to go off. You're best just to watch the face-offs and pick who you think the better fighter is, who the stronger fighter is going to be, because the stronger fighter and the fighter that looks locked in, motivated, ready to go, likely is the one that's going to win. I think Dylam Mantello and Ahmad Hassanzada was a very good face-off. Hassanzada made a big scream and he was ready to fucking go, but just a little bit too aggressive, too cocky in my opinion. Dylam Mantello told him to shush, and he's probably going to sleep and put him to bed here Tuesday night. Ateba Gautier, I gotta tell you one more time, at the face-offs, he looked like the stronger fighter by far. Way more muscle on his body compared to Naito, who had a lot of fat. He looked chubby, not ready to go. Didn't look too confident at the face-offs. Looked pretty scared. The pick changed ASAP. Like fucking ASAP Rocky. And I think this guy, Ateba Gautier, could hit like Rocky. He's from Cameroon, same place as Nagano. He's definitely going to fight for a contract and secure it with a knockout win in round 1. There's the pick, first 2. And now these guys that I'm going to talk about next. The fight in the middle of the card, Joey Hart, 6-1, and Benjamin Bennett, 6-1. Is my least confident pick? No. Probably the second least confident pick on the card. Both these guys, the same record. Benjamin Bennett, this fucking guy, fights with Kamaru Usman, Justin Gaethje, Elevation Fight Team in Denver, Colorado. It's a pick'em fight. He's a good pick. He lost to Trey Waters at LFA 2 years ago, round 3, potentially winning the fight up until that point. And then he got caught. Trey Waters had a big reach advantage. And so does Joey Hart. 4-inch reach advantage. The taller fighter. He's very good at range. Same thing could happen. I do believe Joey Hart is better than Trey Waters. We're going to find out. But I don't want to fuck around and find out. I don't want to bet on this one. Not too confident. 73% are taking Hart on Tapology. But I'm not looking just to tail along with what everybody else is doing. You got to look at the odds and understand this is a coin flip. The bookmakers have this a coin flip. It's going to be a close fight. Because 73% of people are on Hart doesn't mean it's a lock, right? I am picking Joey Hart. I am confident he could find the KO. But Benjamin Bennett has been training with Usman, Gaethje, knocked out a guy, the same guy, twice. And then he won a decision against a guy 6-4 2 months ago. I don't think he's the best pick. He's lacking a 4-inch reach advantage, but he is training with very good guys. And I'm not too confident in the pick. Not confident enough to bet it. I got to respect the bookmakers making this fight price pretty close, and I'll probably stay away. A lot of people picking him to win on Tapology, 73%, but respect odds. Respect to it. Joey Hart knocked out a guy 8-3 with a knee. Being the much bigger fighter, he can land those knees. He can land some kicks. He knocked out a guy 6-3, and he knocked out a guy that was debuting. I think he's the better fighter at range. He can keep it at distance, win a decision, find the knockout in round 2 as well, just like Dylam Mantello, round 2 KO. Round 1, he's going to have to find his reads. He's going to have to probably stuff some takedowns. But 6-4 decision win for Benjamin Bennett. The knockout win against the same opponent. I can't trust in him a whole lot. He lost to Trey Waters. He's got caught before, and it was a knee to the head. Joey Hart is very good with those knees, and he can definitely be the hitman in this fight. That's his nickname. Get the kill, get the job done, get the contract, and we'll see what he can do in the UFC. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in him. I don't think he has one-punch power. He's very precise. He's kind of like a Alex Caceres, Bruce Leroy. Very entertaining. He can land a flashy shot and put a guy out, but it's with precision, accuracy, and great technique, and I think he'll win the fight that way. Benjamin Bennett is going to push forward, look for takedowns, try to grapple, maybe some ground and pound. I think he's unsuccessful. He's fought some pretty low caliber guys. He's getting the chance because he's at Elevation Fight Team with Usman, with Gaethje. But just because you train with great people doesn't mean you are great. And I don't believe Benjamin Bennett is going to be great. His nickname is Mr. Alaska. No Alaskan fighters have ever been great. We'll see what happens. The fight is priced close. The bookmakers have it almost a coin flip. But 70% of people are taking Josh Hart to win on Tapology. Let's keep in mind that the bookmakers are very sharp and they know what they're doing. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be a barn burner, potentially. I'll be cheering for Joey, the Hitman Hart, to find that KO. Potential knee to the head in round 2. Let's fucking get it. We got the co-main event. The biggest favorite on this card. Can you trust in a big favorite like this? Is it the correct price? You had to do a little bit of research. I had to look at the Instagram. Tallison, Teixeira, 6-0. Looks to be like a promising prospect. A very good pick. 6'8", undefeated, from Brazil. But he's fighting another Brazilian, a big dog. Got a chance at the contenders. 6-1. And 4% are picking him on Tapology. He knocked out a guy 5 months ago. 3-4. Incredible win. Daniel Butcher got butchered. Knocked out a guy 7-6. 6 years ago before that. Now, his last fight 5 months ago, he had enough power to get the knockout. In this fight, big spotlight. He's not a true heavyweight. Fighting a 24-year-old, 7 years younger, who's going to be faster, quicker. I think he gets knocked out, like, pretty easily. Hard to have faith in Tallison Teixeira. We haven't seen much from him. He just knocked out a guy 2-1. But he's been more active. 4 months ago, 7 months ago, knocked out a guy 2-1 again. 4-15 knockout win 11 months ago. 1-1 knockout win. The level of competition, horrible. He knocked out a guy 0-1 2 years ago as well. He's been more active. He's a bigger fighter. Big reach advantage. The UFC is probably lining him up to win. Bringing in Arthur Lopes to get slaughtered. To get Tallison Teixeira to the UFC. Get the contract, but it might not play out like that. You never know. Big, heavy favorite. Money going to be on Tallison Teixeira. He's fought guys 2-1. 2-1, 1-1, 0-1, 4-15. I'm not betting on him. I'm just going to sit back, relax, and enjoy this fight. He is 7 years younger. He has a big reach advantage. He should absolutely win this fight. Win it in round 1 by KO. Arthur Lopes is very inactive. He's going to brawl and get caught, in my opinion. If he lands a shot, like, oh my god. Just, oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh. I don't even have money on it, but like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? As for the face-off, I mean, Arthur Lopes looks confident. He was one of the only guys to step in and take the fight. I bet you a lot of people don't want to fight Tallison Teixeira at heavyweight, 24 years old, 6'8", finishing a lot of his fights easily. You never know. Arthur Lopes could be locked in Tuesday night, and he could load up and knock out this very tall fighter with his chin potentially hanging in the air. You never know. Nobody knows. There's not enough information and research on these Contender Series fights. Looking at his Instagram, Tallison Teixeira, he looks very good. He looks very promising. But we'll see how it translates. As a 5-1 favorite, I'm not touching it. Anything can happen. If I'm going to gamble, if I'm going to bet, it's got to be worth it, especially on the Contender Series. This week, my bets, my free bets, are going to be on Instagram, Twitter, Telegram. Hit the link in the bio below. If you have not listened closely, you will not know who I am betting. Now we got the last fight of the night, my least confident pick on the entire card. We're going to make it quick. It's a coin flip. Flip a coin, and we'll see what happens. With that being said, the odds are probably incorrect. Minus 200 for Elijah Smith. He's probably going to win this fight. Don't get me wrong. His dad, former guy that's been on The Ultimate Fighter twice, is absolutely ripped, has a great way to train, and teach his son how to get to the UFC. Clearly, he's 6-1, getting his chance at the Contender Series already. He's very smart. He's a good striker. He's very well-rounded. And he has a loss by knockout to Reyes Cortez a year ago. He's been very active since, won 4 fights in a row, but he's got caught before. He's fighting a fighter that can walk forward and land that shot. Undefeated fighter from Australia, who at the face-offs made a big scream. You know how those Australians are. Stuck the tongue out, got real crazy and wild. His name's Aaron Tau, and for being an undefeated fighter, he hasn't fought very good fighters. 5-5 in his last bout 6 months ago. 7-6, knocking these guys out, making it look quite easy. Pressure, power, not the highest caliber guys. 1-2. 1-2. Yeah, he's plus 150, rightfully so. The odds could be correct. I could be overthinking this, but, this guy is training at City Kickboxing with a lot of good guys. Dan Hooker, Kevin Gisette, Kai Ka France. Kind of fights like Kai Ka France. He could land the shot. He's wild. The record of the fighters that he's previously fought don't necessarily matter. We've learned that before. He's now in the main event. I do think Elijah Smith is a cleaner fighter on the feet, more technical, sharp, but he just knocked out a guy 8-1 before that. It was a 1-2 opponent. 5-0 opponent by a decision before that. 2-1 submission win. He's finishing guys, low caliber. I think he can win this fight by a decision. It's going to be a close fight. He has a guy walking forward trying to take his head off. He's going to have to be safe, technical, and win this fight on the scorecards. If he can win this fight by a finish, it's hard to say. This fighter is undefeated. Aaron. And he's going to be a bat out of hell, probably in the first round. Start to gas out, where he could get finished in late round 2, 3. You never know. I'm picking Elijah Smith. Minus 200. Hopefully that is correct, because 34% are picking him on Tapology. 66% are confident in this underdog. So, 66% of Tapology recorded 650 cappers have Aaron. Holy shit. The bookmakers completely disagree. I agree with the bookies. I'm low confidence on this one. My least confident pick on the entire card, Aaron. Training with Dan Hooker, Kai Ka France, Kevin Gisette, City Kickboxing boys. Navajo Sterling as well. He could win. He's undefeated. He's making the trip over here to get the win, to get the contract, but he's fighting a guy that has a game plan, that has a great coach, his father, that's been here, done that. Let's see what he can do here as a minus 200 favorite. Low confidence pick, not even medium. Under 59% confidence in Elijah Smith. We'll see how he looks here in a fight that is probably his toughest fight to date. It's going to be a decision unless he lands a knockout shot like he did in his last fight there 3 months ago against Josh Walker, who was 8-1. Not too bad. Not bad. I am going to pick him to win. Although Tapology, 66% on Aaron in this one here. Week 6. Let's have some success. Let's have some fun as always. Crack one if you didn't already. Stay hydrated. And let's hit these bookies between the eyes.
This is not over.
And I actually have a forecasted percentage of 65 on Elijah Smith. It was low confidence. That is why I thought it was low. I switched it today to medium, 65%. I'm going to trust in Aaron just to be a little too wild and crazy in there and not win the fight, gas out. We'll see what happens. I'm trusting in the bookies as well. Minus 200. Let's hope it's right here. Main event spot, Elijah Smith. His dad is going to give him the game plan to win this fight. And he looks pretty good at the face-offs too. He looks very confident. Hopefully he's a promising fighter inside the UFC. A lot of these fighters, I don't really know how they're going to do. Elijah Smith, I think he might do all right. Hand him some cans to start out his career. Let him crush them. And we'll see how he does moving forward. Now for the other fights, I'll talk about them real quick. I have a 90% forecasted percentage in Tallison, Teixeira, compared to a 85 implied probability here, minus 550. That's what the bookmakers have him set at. It's a play where you probably should be cautious. The same with Elijah Smith. The implied probability is 63%. I told you 65%. There's another fight. You got to be cautious. Or just be aware that it's exactly where it should be potentially. It could be a great spot to bet. The bookies and me are aligning 100%. We could be very sharp. Now, the other fight that is priced exactly correct is my least confident pick on the entire card here, actually. Joey Hart. I said it was Elijah Smith. It's actually Joey Hart. 55% confidence in him to win. Implied probability, it's 55%. Slight favorite for Joey Hart. We align perfectly again. Now, the fight we don't agree on, an underdog that I lost, positive EV here. He's now plus 110, 48% implied probability. I have 85% implied probability. Do not go and bet this. Do not just trust me blindly. Watch the face-off. Do a little bit of research. Come back, let me know. Hey, yeah, 85% is completely fair in this fucking underdog. Let's go. But my underdog picks, other than Valentina, haven't been good. They haven't been very accurate. I've been losing credibility and followers. But I just swept fucking Bellator. I guess that doesn't even matter. 9 for 9 on Bellator. Swept the ladder. Gave it out for free. Still losing followers. Crazy world we're living in. Crazy world. Crazy enough for this underdog to win, I think, though. 85% forecasted percentage. The script came in. I threw it away because other weeks have been bad. Yeah. But this week we can change everything. Another underdog to start the card. He went to the main card to the first fight of the night. He's going to be barking. Plus 140. He was plus 160. 42% implied probability. I have him at 60%. We might have to bet him too. Bet the two dogs. Because the favorites have been fucking us. And we learned that we cannot be blindly loading up on these favorites. We got to be cautious. We got to be aware. Some of these fights are dangerous to bet. We're not going to bet each and every one. If we're betting, if we're gambling, it got to be worth it. Come on, Gautier. Come on. Get her done. Get her done. For Cameroon, for all of Africa, knock this guy out in round 1. Shine like the sun in the sky.